Welcome to this week's edition of the Dale Martin Jobs and Business Report, sponsored in part by Sunbelt Network, the place to go buy or sell a business, Shatter IT, and other successful business partners. If you're interested in hearing about the current employment environment, either as a job seeker or employer, have a job-related question, or simply growing your business, stay tuned and join the discussion at 803-1520. And now, here's Dale and Andrea.
Good morning, Western New York. Welcome to the Dale Martin Jobs and Business Report, a.k.a. Western New York at Work, live here on ESPN 1520 AM, where we talk about sports, jobs, economic development, and the people that make it happen. It's always about the people here in Western New York, and we have just a wonderful community. And once a month, we always have a conversation regarding legal matters. In fact, it's our Legal Matters show, sponsored by Lotempio PC Law Group. And each month, Frank Lotempio III himself is always in studio to answer your question, to educate us, inform us, and share with us his knowledge base of what's happening in and around the area of law, and how he can help protect you and I guess represent you, represent the clients.
It's the most important thing that we do as attorneys, and it's the greatest thing that we do as attorneys, is we protect our clients. And whenever I get anybody in, no matter what the matter is, we're protecting your rights. We're protecting, if it's a criminal case, we're protecting your rights as a citizen. If it's a corporate litigation matter, we're protecting your business and your rights to the court system. Family court matters, matrimonial matters. We're protecting our clients, and that is the most important thing we do. And I think that's what separates us. I mean, that's, again, I always go back to my father, but it's the only thing he ever cared about. It's funny, my father almost never cared about money. He really enjoyed helping people, and that's what we do.
So Frank, during the break, you had just, talked about or shared some information that was, I guess is
yeah, I just got a text from a buddy of mine, and then I looked it up on ESPN. I think it's, what's his name, Aaron Cromer, the offensive line coach for the Buffalo Bills, got arrested in Florida for assault.
Wow.
For assault? Oh,
for assault.
Oh, man.
Well, at least he's feisty, right?
Yeah,
right. I mean,
that's who I want teaching my offensive line.
So that's big news.
Well, let's talk about assault. Okay,
sure.
Exactly. Okay, so someone that's charged with assault. Okay, you go to a restaurant, bar, or whatever, and you get into an altercation.
Sure.
Okay. I guess it's easy to say let's diffuse the situation, but in reality, sometimes it just doesn't happen.
No.
So for anyone that's in that position, what do you say, Frank?
Well, you got to get out of there. I mean, you stop. I'm telling you something. Do everything you can to diffuse the situation and get out of there, because the next thing you know, the police come and they didn't see the fight normally. So it's one word against the other person's word, and the next thing you know, you could be downtown in the holding center on an assault under 120 of the penal law, and it's a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by a year in jail, 3 years probation. It's a big deal. I mean, anytime you have that hanging over your head, it's a big deal. And a misdemeanor affects your life. You get convicted of a misdemeanor. Anytime this is what I tell people when they come to my office on a criminal case, if they're charged with a misdemeanor or above, or a felony, I said, anytime you go for a job, they can ask you, have you ever been convicted of a crime? If you're convicted of a misdemeanor or a felony, you have to say yes.
You have to say yes.
Yes, and that's a big, big deal.
Now, here's a question that actually just came to mind. Let's say, okay, I'm a resident of Western New York. However, I'm traveling. Okay, I'm traveling to Atlanta or, Florida, and I get into a situation where I need legal counsel. From a jurisdiction standpoint, does your firm only represent clients locally, or if the occurrence happens out of state, do you help your clients in that matter as well?
Well, we're admitted to practice in Florida. At times, we just picked up I may have a case in California. It depends on what it is. So if it's a federal matter, and if you're talking about a criminal case, if it's a federal matter, all you have to do is I'm admitted locally to the Western District of New York Federal Court. So I would just have to apply to get admitted into that federal court, wherever it is. So, but that you're talking about drug conspiracies and things of that nature. If it's a local issue, a state level issue, I'm admitted to practice in Florida, and we've done some work in Florida. But otherwise, unless it's a very serious case, what I would do is, I would find counsel down there for you. So, I mean, we have enough connections across the country, quite frankly, that we do it. But we do work all across New York State. So, every lawyer in our office is admitted in New York State and the federal courts locally. So we've done, my father's done work in New York City. We've done work all over the state.
Okay, great. Now, kind of shifting gears a little bit, child support.
Okay.
Child support is a huge issue across America, and sometimes the dads, the fathers themselves are not,
and moms.
They're not. Pardon me.
And moms.
And moms. Okay, they're not bad people. They just make bad decisions
Sure.
as it relates to child support. And so, do you ever deal with any of those cases?
Oh, we deal a lot with them, and like my father and Mary Sliz deal with that area of the law. But we have a tremendous amount of child support cases, and they, of course, they stem from matrimonials also. So, because anytime you're trying to work out a matrimonial, you're always working out a support issue, also child support issue, if there's children involved, obviously. It's a huge deal. People do get backed up on those payments, and when you get backed up on those payments, bad things can happen. A couple things can happen. First of all, if you get backed up enough, New York State can suspend your license.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, even worse, if you get backed up that much, they can throw you in jail if they want.
You can actually be put in jail.
Yeah, and especially if
Wow.
there's a court order and you're found in contempt of the court order of not paying. Yeah, they can incarcerate you. It's a very big deal, and it's tough. But you have to, child support is statutory. There's statutory guidelines. Okay, so 17% for the first child. And then if you have two children, it's 24. And I think the next level is 3 children. I think it's 32. Again, Mary Sliz and my father would know those numbers better. So it's really actually a calculation of what your weekly income is, and you calculate it, and that's what you have to pay. Okay. You work out agreements that are different. Sometimes a father says, well, I'm paying for their school. Do we deduct that? And those are all issues that come into play. Again, like I said, Mary and my father certainly know that area of the law much better than I do. But you negotiate the amount of child support sometimes based on just certain factors. If you have joint custody and the child's with you 3 days of the week and with the other parent 4 days of the week, sometimes there won't be much child support because you have them as much as the other person has them.
Okay.
So there's so many factors that go into it. I didn't mean to make it seem de minimis when we're talking about just it's a statutory number and you calculate it. It's much more than that, and it takes some savvy and some knowledge of your clients and their situation to really work out the appropriate amount of child support.
Okay.
And don't get back on it. Once you start getting back on it, it's like a credit card. You start getting backed up on your credit card. It just keeps on going and going and going.
I'm just going to say, for any of our listeners out there, if you're dealing with a child support issue, you need to give Latempio PC Law Group a call and get the proper legal counsel that you need. And just kind of closing out today's show in terms of protection, you protect individuals, matrimony, family law, real estate. What are some of the other areas that we didn't touch on?
Criminal work, a lot of corporate litigation and corporate work. We do it all other than intellectual property.
Okay. I understand. Okay. But for any of our listeners out there, Frank, that have a question, they want to follow up with you, how can they contact you?
Contact my office, 855-3761. And I always tell everybody, if it's an emergency, you call my cell phone anytime, which is 574-7325.
Western New York, thank you once again for listening to the Dale Martin Jobs and Business Report, a.k.a. Western New York at Work, live here each and every Sunday, where we talk about sports, jobs, economic development, and the people that make it happen. And we talk about legal matters. Today was legal matters. You heard from Frank Latempio III himself. You know what? Give him a call if you are dealing with a situation that requires legal counsel. You know what? Have a beautiful week, Buffalo. Enjoy the taste of Buffalo. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you for listening to the Dale Martin Jobs and Business Report, sponsored in part by Sunbelt Network, the place to go buy or sell a business, Shatter IT, and other successful business partners. Tune in next Sunday at 10 a.m. to learn the very latest job and business news from around Western New York. Be sure to also listen to Dale's weekly feature on our sister station WBEN every Monday night between 7:15 and 7:30.